Welcome to the Align and Abide podcast with Dr. Kim Tran, where we help you achieve your greatest God-given potential. Now, let's get started with the show.
Hey, it's Dr. Kim Tran here. I host Align and Abide podcast, where we explore ways to elevate your life through holistic health and wellness, personal development, and entrepreneurship. Together, we'll uncover how you can invest in your greatest asset, your health, and achieve your God-given potential. Past guests have included 3,000 Acts of Kindness, Foster One, the Alzheimer's Association, and the Jesus Heals Foundation. In addition, we have a special guest on today, which I'm so excited for you guys to go over and actually discover ways that you can also prevent some injuries by taking care of your car. This episode is brought to you by Minnesota Family Chiropractic, a Christian chiropractic and integrative health clinic founded and led by Dr. Kim Tran, dedicated to helping patients find lasting relief and vibrant health through chiropractic care, nutrition, acupuncture, functional medicine, and inner healing. Minnesota Family Chiropractic is on a mission to transform lives physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Our team of doctors focuses on whole person care to address the root causes, not just the symptoms, so you can get back to living fully. Ready to start your path towards better health? Visit drkimtran.com or call 612-545-5672 to schedule your consultation and experience integrative patient-centered care. Now, Nick, the reason why we even found out about you is because you came walking into my office with that shooting pain in your rib, right? In your back.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I had asked Nick, I was like, oh, well, what do you do? And you can share a little bit about you.
Yeah, so store manager for Les Schwab Tire Center here in Richfield, Minnesota. We are just that. We're a tire center. We specialize in world-class customer service, and taking care of people is kind of our big focus. But obviously we do tires and everything else car maintenance related. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I know many of you are like, all right, so we're talking about health, so why are we talking about tires today? I was asking Nick because, I take care of bodies. And so I rely on people like Nick to help take care of my car, because I would love to tell you as an expert, but I'm not.
Yeah. No, we all want to be, right?
I don't know. Well, and we're going to be getting into today, not just about just your story, because I think you guys will also find this really fascinating how we started in, because so much we think that we need to go through these higher levels of education, that you need your bachelor's degree, you need your doctorate degree. And we're kind of realizing now that might not be the case for everyone.
Yeah, trades are important.
Yeah,
100%.
Absolutely.
Blue collars coming back.
Absolutely. Right. And some of that, I was like, gosh, what was I thinking? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I love what I do. But I was sitting in the office and I was adjusting Nick, and I said, hey, Nick, right? Like, what even got you into working for Les Schwab? Because you told me you've worked your way up.
Yeah. So we're promote from within only company. The Les Schwab kind of runs. The company's been around since 1952 is when Les founded it. That's the name is our founder's name. So Les Schwab is like a person's name. It's not just like a random French word. That's what we get most frequently. It's like, oh, are you guys French? And nope, it's our founder's name. But growing up, it was such a staple to work for Les Schwab. It was like a status symbol, almost like if you were in high school and you worked for Les Schwab, you had the blue coat with the Les Schwab logo on it. It was like an image thing, right? They always had the nice vehicles with the nice wheels and tires, lifted trucks. So that's kind of where it all started. We always bought our tires. I grew up in Northern California, so we always bought our tires from Les Schwab. And then when I turned 18, I moved to Oregon and started with Les Schwab when I turned 19, because I was doing construction framing houses and it just got slow. And there it is. It's always been in the back of my mind. It's trusty, steady work. So started with Les Schwab in 2015 in March, and then it's kind of the rest is history.
Well, and you said you had to convince him to come and work for him.
Yeah,
right?
I went. Yeah, absolutely. So it'd be like I said, it's kind of like a status thing. It's like an elite club almost. I went into the store where I first started at in Oregon City, Oregon. Every day after work, when I'd get done doing construction, I'd go in and I'd sit in the showroom. I'd wait for the manager to have a free second and be like, "Are you ready to interview me?" And he's like, nope, not today. So I just, every single day, finally, after about 2 weeks, he's like, okay, let's go interview. And I must have won him over. Persistence is key, I suppose. And so I started with Les Schwab March 15th of 2015. And so then I worked in Oregon City for almost 3 years. Worked in the brake and alignment side, doing alignments, brakes, suspension, lift kits, all that. Then I transferred to the Molalla, Oregon location, learned about taking care of like giant tires, semi-trucks, like earth mover equipment, all of that. And like I said, we're a promote from within only company. And my assistant manager at the time was like, hey, you really have a knack for this. Like, you need to pursue this as a career. So I decided to take the leap of faith, and I promoted to assistant manager in Pocatello, Idaho. Spent almost 4 years there. I was able to promote early to a manager, and then here I am in Minnesota now 11 years later, and it's all worth it.
Yeah.
It's hard work, but it's worth it, that's for sure.
Well, and I think you've made some really good comments, right? You didn't have a degree.
No, it's straight out of high school.
Straight out of high school, right? And I think this is such a huge motivation for many of you who have kids that are trying to figure out life, that maybe it doesn't mean that they have to go to college.
No, I mean, there's so many of my employees that I keep trying to tell them to I mean, as bad as it sounds, I try and convince them to drop out of college, because I'm like, I see so much potential in you. Let me work with you. Give me the opportunity. I can make a lot of your wildest dreams come true because of how well Les Schwab takes care of their employees. It's about giving back to them and giving back. Like the whole premise behind Les Schwab is he built it off of taking care of people, and that includes taking care of your customer and then taking care of your employees first. So without good employees that feel appreciated and taken care of, you don't get that world-class customer service. And that's what we've built ourselves on since 1952, right? So without that first, there's no good customer service. And I think you see that now and like our competition, and that's what really sets us apart. So yeah, I tell my employees all the time, like, hey, you don't need school. Look at how much I make. It's an open book company. You can see what I make every year. So it's pretty substantial.
Well, and I think this is important is that, when you're going through and guiding young kids, that you have to decide what they're really good at to begin with. Yeah. Right. I know I grew up in an Asian family who was like, okay, so of course I became the stereotypical doctor. Here I am. But like, when you're looking at that, you're like, wait, is that it? You're like, okay, we could do that. But it's also because I had early on, like, I already knew I was great at working on people from the age of 3. Yeah. Like, I've been putting my hands on people, working on them. I was earning my quarters back in the day, if you know this, right? But, I think that this is amazing where we can say, look at what your child already does. Are they working with their hands? Are they interested in trucks? Are they interested in things? And realize they can make a career out of that.
Yeah. And I mean, as Les Schwab, it's great to be good, like interested in cars or whatever. But the people that really thrive care about the people first, care about the customer that's coming in and want to make sure that they're treated like at the absolute best level every single time. Working on cars is easy. Anybody can learn that. But having somebody that truly cares about the person that walks through that door and wants to make sure that they're safe when they get back on the road, that's not always the easiest thing to find. So if you're naturally inclined to wanting to take care of people, wow, the world's your oyster at that point, because you're going to go really far.
Well, and I think that's just a part of it right now, even with business, regardless. You have to have a heart for people. That's what I always tell people when they come and work for me. If you don't have a heart for people, this isn't the job for you. Yeah. And I think, what if we actually cared about people more so than ever? What would change? Well,
it's funny you say that, because when I started with Les Schwab, it was more so like I grew up, my dad was a logger, so I grew up in a logging family. And
oh, yeah. And we're going to continue on with your story coming up, because I'm super excited to hear that. But also, we're going to talk about how you can actually keep yourself safe on the road by even being able to check out your own tires, being able to work on your car for the winter. And we're going to be giving you some tips coming up. I'm back with Nick, store manager over at Les Schwab. And, you're thinking, okay, here we are talking about a tire store, but really what it comes down to is a heart for people. And, as we were talking about during the first segment, the importance of just realizing that, if your kids or yourself, maybe you're looking to get into something else, sometimes it does take like looking outside of the box, right?
Yeah.
Maybe, just for you, it's like, this was such a big deal for you guys to get in. Do you still have that blue coat, by the way?
Oh yeah. Yeah. We all have them. Every employee gets them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool to think, right? So
Yeah.
you started from nothing, right? And you actually had a hustle to get in there. And I think this is important for kids, or whether you're young adult or if you're looking for a change. Sometimes you got to have that determination, right?
Yeah.
If you want something, the more you keep showing up for it, even if they tell you no, one day it's going to be a
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
And you did that for 2 weeks straight. You went in and you kept saying, hey, don't you want me? Don't you want me? Now look at you like 11 years later, right?
Yeah. That's right.
Well, and so you'd mentioned before we left off, you were talking about your dad being a logger.
Yeah. Yep. So hard work isn't the name of the game. Like that's what I grew up. That's the thing that I do best. So we were talking about having a heart for people, and it's unique because when I started with Les Schwab, and even as I moved to assistant manager, like it wasn't my main focus, and it took just a couple years ago that it kind of shifted, and then that's kind of when everything opened up, and I just started growing as a person even more exponentially, right? Because for the longest time it was just how much work can you get done in one day, and then it turned and my focus shifted to how many people can I help, and then now it's brought me so much success beyond my wildest dreams. So
yeah. Well, and I think that's a huge thing, that regardless of where we're at, what if people started thinking about, well, how can I help out more people? How can we serve people?
yeah.
Right? How can we recognize people? I just had on another person, Pastor Marsha King, and she has a heart for the homeless, right? So she actually goes out and serves the community by reaching out to the homeless, by going up to people she feels, and because she starts to recognize them in their worst moments. And even when they come into the auto shop, it's not because they're...
Yeah, it's not always good moments.
It's not always a good moment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and usually it's because their tire busted, they waited too long.
Yeah, they got a flat. They're trying to get to work, and they come in with a flat, and it's so unexpected, right? No, you're going to work, and the hustle and bustle of life, and you wake up and you got a flat tire. It throws a big wrench in your day. Not a lot of people. I mean, no one's expecting it, so it's just your outlook on what you do from there, right? Just get it taken care of, and when people come in, treat them with kindness. No one's planning it. Just take care of them.
Well, and I know that you mentioned like Les Schwab. So he actually started from the ground up, because you'd mentioned how he actually just came in and started sweeping.
So our CEO, John Robertson, he started at 16 years old, sweeping floors, and now he's CEO. But Les started, he bought the first store in 1952. He was from running papers. So he was born in Minnesota. His family moved to Prineville, Oregon when he was a young boy. He was orphaned, and then big logging community. And then he just saved up, got a loan from his uncle, and bought the first store. It was called OK Tire Welders. Took a leap of faith, and then here it is. What's that? 1952, so 70, or what would that be? 75, 70, 74 years later. Here we are. And it's just unbelievable. And like I said, it's all from building people, promoting people from within, teaching them the value, taking care of customers.
Yeah. And realizing you're going to have to do the hard work.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when you start into things, and I think this is important, like when we're looking at teaching kids and, your grandkids, they got to do the hard jobs. You got to give your kids chores.
Yeah.
It's actually a biblical thing. Like you got to give them chores. They have to do things because you want to instill a work ethic early on.
Oh, yeah.
And when you go into a company, I think a lot of people want to have your job, right?
Yeah. It's easy to say you want to start at the top, but there's a lot of hard work to get there. That's like I mean, I grew up packing chainsaws in the woods with my dad, and gas cans, and pulling green chain off of lumber mills, and mowing lawns. Like, nothing was for free.
Right. It's still not for free.
It's still not for free. The sooner you learn that, the easier life gets, when you realize that there's nothing in this world that's for free. Hard work pays off. And so, Les taught that. I mean, and part of it too is just so much of community involvement and giving back to the community. He was so big on community involvement. And now, I mean, just every store, we have over 600 locations. And when I was in Pocatello, we spent over $12,000 at a 4-H livestock auction just as one store.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, and all the money gets donated to the kids, and the animal gets donated back. Like, it's all about building the next generation of kids, next generation of leaders, right? So it just starts there, being involved in the community.
Yeah, and I think that's huge, because I know we had talked about it. We both have such a big heart for our community.
Yeah.
And you guys are doing something special for the community right now.
Yeah, we're doing a toy drive. We're partnered with Yule. So that's going on until, I want to say, I probably should have looked up the date. I want to say it's December 19th is the kind of like cutoff that we're going to start giving all the toys out. But yeah, I've got a donation box at the store. I got a donation box at my credit union in Richfield. You can always go into Yule, and there's a donation box there. Take monetary donations. When people donate toys, they're getting $25 off a service at the store.
Nice.
Yeah, there's like, let's make sure these kids have a good Christmas. Like, let's, there's not everyone's fortunate to have a big loving home that always has something underneath the tree. So what we can do to make them feel special on Christmas is going to be crucial.
Yeah,
important.
That's great. So not only they can come into your store, located right in Richfield, so they can drop off a toy there, and then also get a $25 coupon towards service.
Yeah, for whatever they need. Like, and it doesn't have to be used right then. I'll use it 6 months from now. And whenever you want to use it, let's use it. But let's make sure the kids are taken care of first. So.
Yeah. Well, speaking of taking care of kids, it's also important to take care of yourself, right? And
yes.
and I think some of this is, now that we've seen so much of the snow coming down, so many people are getting into accidents. And, I, of course, see people after they've been through an accident, but I also know that there are some times where they're showing videos where people are just by themselves sliding off.
Yeah.
And so it's a tire thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, tire and I mean, it starts there with tires, right? You can always say excessive speed, things like that, but the better your tires are, the faster you can go. Not that that's a good thing, but it does help.
It does help, right? Well, and so I grew up with a family, and mind you, I mean, many of you know, like, my family didn't have a lot of money growing up. So I just thought it was the thing to do, that when we needed a new set of tires, you just got 2 more and then push the other 2 to the back.
Yeah. Well, and so there's so many new studies to that. On front-wheel drive vehicles, you want your best tires on the rear, because that's where, in a loss of traction situation, you're going to be more likely to lose. You can't control the rear on a front-wheel drive car. There's no steering back there. There's no power. So if you start to hit some ice and you start to fishtail, if your worst tires are on the rear, it's going to get a lot worse in a hurry. So the better traction you have back there, the more likely you are to get the vehicle back under control and be able to safely, come to a stop. But also, a lot of manufacturers now, when you do, tires, a lot of them are wanting you to replace them in sets of 4. It's not always being able to have the luxury of doing just 2, and that makes for difficult conversations, right? That's an expensive thing. And somebody comes in with a Subaru that's all-wheel drive, and they only have 1 tire that's bad, and a blowout situation or whatever, and they've got three okay tires. Well, Subaru's very specific on their vehicles that you do for. And it's for the safety of the person, but also for the safety of your vehicle. There's so many moving parts, transmission, things like that, it's not always just the simple of put 2 on and rotate them back. Yeah. That's the thing of the past.
Oh, that is the thing of the past. So kind of getting back to that. So if somebody has a front-wheel drive vehicle, right, let's just say they do the 2-tire option, which may not be an option. That's why you got to go talk to Nick. right?
Yeah.
But, if they do that, their newer tires should actually be at the back of the
Correct.
car. Now, if there's a rear wheel drive, now is that the opposite?
No, actually, so that it's based off of power displacement.
Yeah, sure.
So, but still, you got to figure weight of everything is in the front. It's where your engine sits. It's where all of your control is. That's where your steering is. So, if you can control the front, then that's where your kind of, let's say, not as good tires should be. You want your best tires where there's less control.
In the back.
In the back.
Regardless, yeah.
Yeah.
It was funny because when I was down in North Carolina, I ended up with a Cadillac. And people were like, well, why did you get a rear wheel drive car now that you're here? And I said, well, I bought it when I was in, I had a mechanic at the time. And he's like, hey, this is going to be a great car. It's used, not a problem. But that specifically is rear wheel drive. So I actually had to weight down my car in the trunk in order to make sure that everything.
You had traction.
Yeah, that I had traction, right? And that's really important for people to know. It's like if you have a rear wheel drive car, you're going to have to put weight in the back. That's just the reality of it, right?
Yeah, like a pickup, put some sandbags back there. Leave sandbags back there. That you'll be surprised at how much it does. Just a couple 50-pound sandbags.
Yeah. And now you might have to clean up some sand later, but it's worthwhile, right? Coming up, we're going to actually be talking about more ways that you can, keep you and your family healthy by actually taking care of your car, working on changing out your tires, some things to look out for. But also, if you're looking to transform your life and health, give us a call today. This is Dr. Kim Tran. You can find out more information at drkimtran.com. That's drkimtran.com. And I'm back with Nick Richter of Les Schwab Tires. And I know many of you are like, okay, tire shop, okay. I thought this was a health show. Of course it's a health show. But also, many of us have seen now during winter how many people have already been off and got into an accident, totaled out their car. And yes, after that, you should come in and see me. Please do. Like personally, right away. I always tell people within 24 hours, go and see your favorite chiropractor. Get some x-rays taken, get your body taken care of, but also on the other side, let's go through and prevent some problems, right?
Yeah.
And, as we were talking about before, growing up, I just learned, I thought the 2-tire thing was just the thing to do, right? And so maybe, your finances are saying, okay, I can only afford 2 tires. And as you mentioned, Nick, where should those 2 tires go regardless if it's front wheel drive?
On the rear. Let's
in the
put
rear.
them on the rear.
Yeah. And also the importance of, if you do have a rear wheel drive vehicle or you have a car that's lighter, that you definitely need to put some weight in the back.
Yeah, absolutely. Weight that thing down.
Yeah. And I think about it, we have bricks that, with my Cadillac, just because I use that a lot more during the summer, is I actually leave the weights that I use for my tents when I set up events for the community. I just leave those in my trunk.
Yeah, just leave them back there.
They get weights down. But so let's talk about this. So now, what are some other prevention things that people can do? Because many of you have probably noticed that suddenly the temperature went down, and some of us have car sensors where they're saying, hey, your tires are underinflated. How many of you have actually checked to see if your tires are still inflated properly?
Well, that's a huge thing, right? Tire inflation. I know as Les Schwab, we do free air checks. So you can always stop by the store anytime. We can check your air for you for free. But another big thing too, especially this time of year with the cold, is getting your battery tested. Like how big of a pain is it to not be able to start your car? So you've got batteries. We do what's called a pre-trip safety check. So we go through the entire car. Make sure your brakes are good. Make sure your steering components are good. Make sure your alignment's good. Because all of those things factor into safe driving. If your steering components are bad, you're probably not going to be able to steer your car very well. If your tires are bad, you're not going to be able to drive down the road very good. If your brakes are bad, you're not going to be able to stop very good. So all of those things play into a huge factor. Underinflated tires wear out prematurely, just like overinflated tires do. So it's important to know that what your door placard says is what the manufacturer says for how they set it. What the side of the tire says is what the manufacturer of that tire says is the max air pressure that tire can handle. For us in the industry, when during this time of year, we'll always set your tires a little bit higher than what the door placard says, accounting for that little loss in air pressure when it gets real cold below these freezing temperatures. And it doesn't affect tire wear, it doesn't affect anything like that. It's just a little bit of peace of mind for the person that comes in.
Right. And for many of you who didn't take physics or chemistry, what happens is when it gets cold, the air constricts.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's why, when you see a temperature change, you definitely want to go and get that checked. I was just mentioning that to Nick because I was like, oh, temperature changed. All of a sudden I'm like, and, my signaling came on with my car. So I was
There's
like,
your
okay,
little tire light.
here we go. So now you know where it'll be after this. But I think this is really important for people to know because most of us aren't aware of the fact of when the temperature changes, the pressure on your tires is automatically going to go down.
Yeah.
So it's important to have somebody else check that, especially if you grew up in a home that you didn't know how to check your tires.
Yeah. Well, and even then, nowadays, people are keeping their vehicles for longer, so there's a lot more vehicles on the road that don't tell you air pressure anymore. So come in, just because the little light is on doesn't mean it's something that you should ignore. Come in, there may be a problem. It may not be just the cold. We check it for free. We'll do a flat repair for free. We're more worried about making sure people are safe than we are nickel and diming everyone. So that light comes on, swing by, let's check the air pressure. If we think there's a problem, we're going to let you know, and then we can address it from there.
Well, and I think it's important just because, I know with my other car that's an older vehicle, my tire rim started rusting out. So even though I had brand new tires on, the
air pressure would go down.
Pressure would go down. So they actually had to go through and actually clean up the rims.
Yep. Yeah.
Just to make sure that it held the air. So it may not even be your tire. It could actually just be your rims, wheel. Especially if you've been driving around on an older car.
Exactly. Yeah. It's what we call a bead leak, just between the wheel and the bead of the tire, corrosion builds up and it allows air to escape through there. And it'll slowly go down. It's not always fast. It'll go a couple pounds. You're like, gosh, I fill this thing up every 2 weeks. There's probably a reason that you're filling it up every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So.
And if you're not around a place that's going to tell you, hey, we just need to clean out your rims.
Yeah.
And so that's always an important thing. Now, what are some other things people can do? I mean, yes, definitely they can bring it in. How do they know? We always hear about the part of hey, put a quarter or...
Yeah, that's kind of like a terrible method.
Okay, so let's explain the terrible method so people know. Okay,
I mean,
so
you use a quarter. So everything's based off of actual measurements,
okay,
right?
Sure.
Those little bars on your tire, they indicate 330 seconds. When those things are flat, 330 seconds is not good.
So you mean the treads that you're referring to?
So the tread, there's the tread, and in between each tread, there's a little bar. And you could feel it with your finger. And if the tread is flat with that bar, that's the wear indicator that those tires are no longer good. That's 330 seconds of tread. Legal limit before a police officer could ticket you is 230 seconds.
Okay.
If anybody doesn't know what a 32nd of an inch is, it's very, very small. So
sure.
Yeah. So when we start making recommendations at 430 seconds, so an eighth of an inch, right, of tread left, that's when we start saying, hey, it's time to get in. So using the quarter, it's like my mother-in-law, she sent me a picture the other day of using a quarter, and I was like, what are you doing? That I told you not to use that. It's not an accurate representation.
Would you rather them use a ruler or what?
Yeah, I mean, ruler, tape measure,
whatever.
Anything that gives you a physical number, right? Because you can look at the side of a quarter and be like, it looks about good still, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Because you put a quarter in there, and as long as you can see some of the quarter, you're thinking, yep, I still got tread. Well, that's not necessarily the truth, right?
Yeah, and it depends on your vehicle, right? A larger vehicle, obviously larger tread, which means it can wear it still out faster before it falls out.
Yeah, exactly. So, the quarter method, though it's old and it seems to be tried and true because everyone does it, it's not a great representation.
So in other words, don't listen to what you heard on TikTok, okay?
Yeah, TikTok is not maybe, I know my wife loves TikTok. She uses it for all sorts of stuff, but maybe not the best auto mechanic advice.
Sure. Well, what else have you noticed that people have followed that maybe is not the best advice when it comes to their car?
I don't know. I guess it just kind of goes case by case. Waiting for the assumption that your brakes are going to squeak to let you know that they're bad. That is not a good indicator. Not every vehicle comes with, they're called squealer tabs, a little part that actually contacts the rotor, which is what the pads.
I don't
grab
know. I
onto.
personally like to wait until the metal is on metal.
Yeah, and then it's a horrible grinding
No,
noise.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so that would be
Like-
a bad assumption. Don't assume your brakes are going to squeak to let you know that they're bad. You should be getting your vehicle serviced every 5,000 miles. You should be getting an oil change and a rotation at the very least. And at that point, you should always have a kind of indication on brakes of what they're at, because a reputable shop, wherever you choose to go, if you don't choose to go to Les Schwab, you can, wherever you go, hopefully they're checking your brakes when they're rotating your tires, because that's crucial. That's probably the biggest thing that I would say, other than the quarter thing, is probably people just assuming that, it's going to squeak when they're bad. And then they miss the squeak, and then it's a horrible grinding noise, and they have no pad left. So
Yeah, and that's a much more expensive thing.
Yes.
When you wait until you're metal on metal.
Exactly.
Not that I know that. When I was really young, okay? Give me a break. I was a teenager.
Right.
But, I think a lot of that is we learn from mistakes, because I didn't grow up going through, I think the one class that I used to say that I wish I would have done is an auto class.
Yeah.
I was like, God, that would have been a great idea.
I don't think they do that in high school anymore.
Oh, they don't.
Well, I don't know. It's been a while since I've been in high school, but
Yeah.
I graduated in 2012. So I know my high school did just for my freshman year, and then they got rid of the program. So I don't know that that's a normal class to take anymore.
Yeah. I mean, if you do have that, I would just encourage, I actually encourage anyone else that is a teenager, especially my students that I know that are in high school. I said, hey, you should really take a basic auto mechanics class.
Yeah.
If you have that available at your school, it's a great thing to do. So then that way you know some things, even if you're not the one working on your car.
Yeah. They're only like a semester long anyways.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So it's not a bad thing to do.
Yeah, they're an elective class. Just get some credits for it and learn something while you're at it.
Maybe we all need to. That's what you guys should do. You should start teaching classes. Like, hey, here's your intro to taking care of your car. Go. Yeah. That's why we're here. Yeah. But I think that's important to know, is that now, getting back into that stuff. So, of course, we want people to check out things beforehand, right? And that's important, just because you don't want to wait until your tires are bald. And you kind of made a comment, and I was like, well, how many people are driving around on bald tires? And he's like,
You would be surprised the amount of people that are driving around on bald tires. It's shocking. And it's hard, right? Tires are expensive. Nothing's cheap. But there's always financing options, especially through Les Schwab. We do in-house financing.
So how do they know? I mean, besides obviously looking at them, right? So maybe people aren't aware of what a bald tire looks like.
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously the tread has gone down. What are things that they would notice while they're driving that the tire is going bad?
Things that you could notice, you would notice like it seems like your car's maybe understeering or oversteering. Like it's really hard to kind of keep it in a straight line. When you press the gas, it seems to spin more, things like that, right? So those are obvious signs that maybe your tires are starting to get bad. Other things too that people don't understand is what's called a separation, was when the tire starts to get a bubble and come apart.
Oh, and we're going to be talking more about that coming up. So not only can you take care of your body, you should also be looking at preventive maintenance for your car too. And if you're looking for more information, go to drkimtran.com, or you can reach out to Nick at leschwab.com. And I know many of you are thinking, okay, why would you even bring somebody on? Well, it turns out Nick had a back problem, came into my office, and I, being the curious one, was like, ooh, so what got you into this? And I think this is such an important story to share, because you started from the ground up. You didn't have a degree.
No degree.
You were persistent. You got your way in. And I think this is an important characteristic to teach kids, right? Hey, you got to be persistent. You got to take action.
Yeah.
And I know sometimes if you feel like you're not getting where you want to be in life, sometimes you got to just take action and do things different, right?
Yeah, squeaky wheel gets the grease, right?
Right. And, we had talked about this, like you have a passion for also helping out with mentoring high school students.
Yeah.
So you've gone in and done some talks at high schools before?
In my last store.
Oh, yeah. So can you share a little bit about what you share with students?
It's, I guess it's very kind of complicated, because usually when I'm there, I'm talking about like their sports team and recognizing their sports team and stuff like that. And then they'll ask questions and you get random things, or you do a job fair and kids come in asking about what we do as Les Schwab. But I think like the biggest thing for getting kids into wanting to be with Les Schwab or just automotive industry in general is just you can always be taught something. Like you don't have to be natural at it. You can always just, as long as you're willing to learn and you're willing to put in the hard work, you're gonna get wherever you want to go. So when I'm there, talking about it's hard work, it's strenuous, right? That's why I came in and met you.
You're like, well, since I was lifting that tire.
Yeah, right. Tires are heavy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's so simple. Our job is pretty simple. It's just take care of people and then taking care. Like what's funny is I'm not a super big car guy. Like I don't like, if you were like, hey Nick, what do you like to do on your free time? I'm not going to tell you work on cars. And I've been that way since I was a kid. I've never been a guy that is like, I just love working on cars. I've got employees that love it. And it helps them for sure. But I also have employees that have never touched a car in their life that are just as good. And so I think it's, if you appreciate being somewhere that you feel like a part of a team and you feel valued, and you like to just work hard and have fun, like that's all you really need is a good attitude.
Absolutely. Attitude, a willingness to learn goes such a long way.
Yeah.
Whether it's, being in health or going into, working on cars, working on tires. I think that's such an important factor for I think that there are a lot of kids and young adults that are feeling lost right now. They're lost. And this isn't just a theme. This is a real thing. They're lost. They're feeling anxious, depressed. They're feeling this way. And we've got to give kids a purpose, right? And purpose comes with hard work, right? We know, like, if we start working, we're going to feel that purpose. Sure, like, if you've been lost and all of a sudden you think about working, you're like, oh, right? Which is so crazy because, I'm on the same boat as you. I've been working as soon as I could, right? Because my parents didn't have a lot of money, so I had to work.
Yeah.
I had to babysit, deliver papers.
Yeah. Mow lawns.
Yeah, those things, right. I had a lot of brothers, so I didn't get the lawn mowing very often. I got the whole other thing. But I think that's a really important thing for kids to know is that, it's going to require some hard work, but you can always learn something.
Yeah.
If you have a bit of an interest, you have a love for people. And I think we just got to love up on people more anyway.
Yeah. And just have an open mind, right? Don't be so closed off. Pick your head up from your phone every now and then and kind of open your eyes to what's around you.
Well, and I think that's been kind of the issue now. I was just talking about this morning with one of my teenagers, and she's like, gosh, I'm so anxious. I feel depressed. And I said, look, I'm going to look over your x-ray with your head coming forward over 55 millimeters. And I'm going to tell you, you're on your phone too much. And her mom was like, yeah, she's on her phone all the time. And we know that if you are on your phone, you are actually increasing your anxiety, your depression, you're decreasing your attention span. You want to learn how to increase your attention span? Do some hard work.
Yeah. Work hard.
Yeah.
Sweat a little bit.
So I know, just start getting that sweat, get a little grease on you. And, on the benefit side, if they come working for you, right?
Yeah.
At least then you're actually, people thought it was so trendy for a while to like flip tires for a workout.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? Not only can you flip tires and get healthy, you can also
make money. Money makes the world go around.
Yeah. But, like coming back into this stuff with, taking care of your car, what's the difference between, okay, so somebody's coming in with limited money with that. And I think this is an important thing. Why should they not buy used tires versus getting brand new ones?
When you buy a used tire, there's tires made up of a lot of different components. You've got the rubber that's on the outside that you can physically see, but you also have all what's called the steel belts on the inside. And you're trusting that used tire hasn't seen any prior damage to punctures. Anytime you get it, we can fix a nail puncture, but you think about it, when that nail punctures that tire, it's breaking those steel belts in there. So we put patches in there and plugs so that it maintains the structural integrity, but it's not perfect anymore. So you're going to take the assumption that used tire is going to keep you just as safe as a brand new tire would. Your traction qualities on it is going to be declined, right? Because they're not new. the treads on them is lower. You're also assuming that those tires were stored in a good environment. What does rubber do when it gets hot? It dries out, cracks. Same thing that when it gets cold, it stiffens up. Back to your chemistry thing, right? Like,
Yeah, right.
Not everyone did chemistry, or physics or whatever, but like I think rubber is an oil product, and as it sees the elements, it distorts and changes. So the debate of used versus new, I always try and steer people towards new, just because you're going to make sure you're that much safer on the road.
Well, and you and your family are safe.
And well, that's a great point, because it's not just, you can't be so single-minded. It's not just you in the car. How many people are on the freeway next to you? If you have an issue, what if the person that you hit has a family with them? Or, it happens every day that you see terrible accidents of people losing family members and whatever, and these horrible car accidents, or whole families. You have to take that serious. When you get on the road, it's not about you. It's the people around you. And you have to take that just like you would anything else. Like, you're putting not just your life at risk, but everyone else around you. So when you trust a used tire, you have to look at that thing and go, well, not only is it going to keep me safe, it's got to make sure to keep everyone else around me safe. So that's why I would suggest new. And not always does it. Can you afford that? But
yeah. Well, what are some better options? Like, so for those of you out there that are like, well, Doc, I hear you. I know that, Nick's saying, hey, I got to keep things, safe. But what if they can't afford a new set of tires? Are they okay doing 2 at a time? Or what would you recommend?
Yeah. I mean, if your vehicle allows it and it's okay with vehicle like specifications, and it'll tell you in your owner's manual, you can just in your maintenance intervals in your owner's manual, it'll also tell you the tire section it'll tell you what you're allowed to do as far as replacement of tires. If your vehicle can do just 2 at a time, let's do 2 at a time rather than having to worry about all 4, because at least we can get you started with something that's going to be safe, and then your next available, when you can afford it next, then we'll do 2 more and then get you in a good rotation pattern, right? That's a lot safer than just trusting that 4 used ones are going to hold up.
Yeah. Now, what about this? So they go through and say, all right, they're trying out the 2, but what if they're looking for a car? And maybe they're thinking, okay, well, here I can get this car really cheap. But you mentioned Subaru, right? They mentioned, no, you can't replace more than, you have to replace all of them.
4, yeah.
Right? So if you're even looking at a used car, are there some other brands you can think offhand that?
There's certain model Fords, certain model Chevys, like the all-wheel drive, most all-wheel drive Ford Explorers. Some of the Chevy Equinox all-wheel drive systems you can do just 2, but most of them require 4. Like a good one that you see around like Minnesota, Minneapolis, Richfield area a lot is Audi and BMW. All of those X-Drive or Sky Active or X-Torque, all of those fancy ones, they're not just a 2-wheel option. It's a 4 tire replacement. Yeah,
and those things are important for you to know. Like if you're looking at a car, or you're looking at a car for your kids, that maybe you want to think about that on their future side. Absolutely. So Nick, I'm so glad that you're in here. Can you think about just a quick little 15 seconds, like any other mentors that have been really big impact on you?
Jason Weatherall, my assistant manager in Malala, he was like a dad to me. I love that man for eternity. He is so great to me. And then probably David Gonzalez, my old manager in Pocatello. He was really great, as well as my own dad, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's just so important. Have mentors. Just know that you can start just from the bottom and work your way on up with some hard work and some ability to learn and have a heart for people. And if you're looking for more information, if you're looking for car maintenance, where can they go?
Les Schwab Tire Center, Richfield.
Thanks for listening to the Align and Abide podcast. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.